Grit and its impacts on psychology. About grit. Grit refers to working with passion and commitment towards challenges while aiming at success. Grit is one of the most popular approaches in the psychology field. For instance, it has played a major role in promoting positive energies in the learning and working environment. Research has affirmed that through grit, most people in society have recovered from mental and psychological. However, many people still confuse grit with other disorders despite the role it has played to many people. Hence, grit plays an essential role in people's lives. Role of grit. The cure and proof for well-being are the primary objectives of mental illness medical personnel. As such, through the intervention, the doctors have been able to affirm how a patient recovers. Many people have recovered through the influence of grit in their healing process. However, it is hard to track the healing process of patients with substance disorders. The grit scale is also used as an approach to testing the well-being of an individual. Grit literature. Many studies have been conducted on the solution of grit in patients with substance abuse. A significant number of the recommended actions always require more influence of drugs. However, grit is one of the best ways of assessing the well-being of substance abuse patients. Griffin et al. Have affirmed the clinical relevance of the construct of grit to patients. More notably, she confirms that grit is the most efficient way of testing change in the patients. Grit shows how the patient thinks of the future and their aggressiveness. Need for grit intervention in cases of high school dropout. Grit intervention is the best way to approach high school dropout cases. A large number of high school dropouts are mainly caused by substance abuse. The increase in the occurrences of high school dropouts is a major challenge in society. As a result, applying the intervention of grit will help in identifying the causes of dropout. Most of these students are in the stages of adolescence, thus, they need the interventions. Recommended intervention. There are various recommended actions for the population of high school students. For instance, it should not only be applied to the selected cases but to all students. It will also create a positive mindset for the students. Mindset test intervention will help in creating a more positive environment of learning. The students will be asked questions that will elaborate more on what they are thinking. Under courage and resilience, the learner will be checked on confidence in the future without education. Finally, through passion, it will be easy to apply grit as students will learn more about their lives and the potential outcomes of dropping out of school. Evaluation approach. After the successful application of grit intervention, there is a need to evaluate the actions. For instance, it will be easy to develop a report after a successful assessment of the activities done before. After an analysis of the interventions that have been applied to learners, they will be checked on how they are affected by the applied intervention. Similarly, the learners will be asked questions from time to time to record the progress in their mindset change. Thus, the two evaluation approaches will help the students create a positive attitude to their studies. Ethics in the intervention. Ethics in research will be followed during the process of conducting the research and implementing the required strategies. Data protection helps in winning the trust of the participants. More specifically, the learners will be given consent forms from the school management which will confirm the eligibility. Also, the learners will be assured of data security, and methods of data collection will be communicated to the learners in advance. How culture will be implemented. In the process of conducting this study, the cultural structures will be observed. For example, no questions will illustrate the culture of the learners. Similarly, in the process of creating the approaches, the aspects of culture brought by the learners will also be highly respected. Thus, it will be easy to conduct the study as per the grit interventions approach.